The shadow cloaked in a cape outside his body had eyes glowing with a terrifying dark light, glaring at Wang Lin. For some reason, as the cave abode gate opened, a surge of life-and-death crisis erupted in his mind. Wang Lin stood beside the large gate, turning to look at the distant war ghost. Behind him, a gap in the door opened, and the aura of the immortal firmament continent surrounded Wang Lin's body. The foreign aura made Wang Lin's Dao ancient bloodline seem to rejoice, causing his blood to flow faster, as if absorbing this power. Even though the gate is open, you dare not go out. While I do not possess the memories of the third soul, some remnants of the immortal firmament continent's insight still remain in my soul. Between the Abode realm and the immortal firmament continent lies the immortal astral barrier, and only those with the bloodline can leave. Even if you possess bloodline summoning and can exit, if you do not hand over the third soul, after you leave this cave, I will kill everyone related to you. The feeling of life and death crisis grew stronger within War Ghost's mind. He did not approach, but instead transmitted his words from afar. Now that the gate is open, there is no deep grudge between us that cannot be resolved. Give me the third soul, and I will leave immediately, never to step foot in the cave abode realm again. His voice carried a strange force, echoing eerily. Wang Lin remained silent. He would never give up the third soul. To him, the soul was not that of the seven-colored immortal venerable Su Dao, but his disciple, Xie. In the silence, Wang Lin raised his right hand. Two flickering dark lights appeared in his palm, transforming into two seals inscribed with runes. The seals were surrounded by dark light, with blood threads entwined inside. The very blood of Xie. Xie had used his body to reincarnate as the third soul, sacrificing his life to form three seals. One for himself, and the remaining two entrusted to Wang Lin. This was the final act Xie performed before his death for his master. Once these two seals merged with the immortal firmament continent's aura, they would contain the power to seal the remaining two souls of the seven-colored immortal venerable. The moment these seals appeared, the immense immortal astral aura leaking from the gap in the cave abode gate behind Wang Lin rushed toward his right hand and merged rapidly with the two seals. The dark light surged, as though two shadowy suns floated within his right hand. The radiance enveloped Wang Lin, causing his body to blur, and even the cave abode gate behind him became shrouded in the light, appearing faint from afar. However, the sealing power was still incomplete, as it continued to absorb the immortal astral aura from the gate. Due to the small gap, the absorption was slightly slower. As War Ghost felt this sealing power, his pupils contracted sharply. He finally understood the source of the life and death crisis feeling. This all stemmed from the fusion of the seals inside Wang Lin's body with the immortal firmament continent's aura. A cold glint flashed in his eyes, and War Ghost wasted no time. He moved swiftly toward Wang Lin, knowing that he could not retreat now. Despite the intense feeling of crisis, he had to stop it, or the consequences would be unimaginable. His speed was so fast that he almost closed the distance to Wang Lin in the blink of an eye, just under 10 paces away. With a wave of his right hand, a golden battle character flew toward Wang Lin, and at the same time, the seven-colored soul shadows outside his body overlapped. The soul of the seven-colored Taoist materialized, its form surrounded by seven-colored light, charging toward Wang Lin. Next, the second soul of the seven-colored immortal venerable, cloaked in a cape with only his eyes visible, extended both arms. His cape expanded like a wave, endlessly growing to engulf everything, rushing toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression remained calm. The two seals in his right hand continued to absorb the immortal astral aura spilling from the gate. As War Ghost and the two seven-colored souls neared, Wang Lin raised his left hand and suddenly slapped forward. With this strike, 8 of his origin true bodies manifested simultaneously, as if 8 Wang Lins each struck out with a palm. The thunderous sound of the impact resonated across the heavens and earth. The collapsing fifth blossom world began to dissipate on a large scale, revealing the starry sky, with figures such as Blue Dream Dao Sovereign, the Ma surname elder of the five-element star, Yunifeng, and the third consort Tangshan appearing. The severely wounded Black Tortoise General and Vermilion Bird General also materialized. The appearance of the Origin True Bodies caused War Ghost's expression to change drastically. Though he lacked memories of the Third Soul and had never seen the Origin True Bodies, the Ma surname Elder of the Five Elements Star, upon seeing them, revealed an expression of shock and disbelief. Origin True Bodies. This is the Origin True Body. It is already rare for a person to possess one, but he has 8. According to rumors, there is a possibility of becoming a grand heavenly venerable apart from awakening the divine realm, and it is related to the Origin True Body. Though this possibility has never been confirmed, it speaks to the rarity of the Origin True Body. The thunderous rumble echoed as Wang Lin's 8 primordial avatars and his true body simultaneously struck with a palm, clashing with the War Ghost. Amid the booming sound, the 7-colored soul, Cloak Soul, and the War Ghost all trembled violently, retreating in unison. This was a direct confrontation between Wang Lin and the War Ghost, forcing it to fall back. Wang Lin's body shook as if a great force was rushing toward him. It slammed into his left hand, then rippled through his body and his 8 primordial avatars. His gaze flickered. Using the rebound force of this divine ability, he traced an arc with his left hand, and as his body retreated, he pressed his hand against the great door behind him. The door rumbled, and simultaneously, his 8 primordial avatars also retreated, each one colliding with the door. In the deafening roar, the door once again creaked open. What had started as a small crack widened rapidly, gradually opening nearly a third of the way. At this point, the door no longer required anyone to push it. As the immense aura of the immortal firmament continent surged in, the door opened by itself, the rumbling sound continuing as it grew wider and wider. Meanwhile, more of the immortal firmament continent's aura howled out, merging swiftly with the 2 sealing orbs on Wang Lin's right hand. As the War Ghost's expression changed drastically, Wang Lin raised his right hand. A look of terror appeared in the War Ghost's eyes. At this moment, there was no time for hesitation. Desperately, he retreated, disregarding everything. Wang Lin looked at the sealing orbs in his hand, and for a brief moment, it seemed he saw Xieqing within them. A sadness flashed in his eyes. Xieqing, you are both my disciple and my master. Wang Lin sighed softly, waving his right hand. The 2 sealing orbs, bathed in a cold light, shot toward the retreating War Ghost. The sealing orbs, like fate itself, could not be avoided by the War Ghost, no matter how fast he was. The 2 sealing orbs, one after the other, approached the War Ghost. In his face filled with terror, the first orb sped toward his forehead. The War Ghost roared, his hands forming seals, divine power radiating from his body, while his Cloak Soul displayed fear, raising its right hand to hastily wave at the sealing orb. The void exploded in violent crashes, but all his divine abilities, all the dazzling lights, could not stop the orb. It was as though everything in its path simply did not exist. The sealing orb pierced through all the divine powers and the void, drifting effortlessly as it landed on the Cloak Soul's forehead. At the moment of contact, the Cloak Soul let out a chilling scream. Its body immediately shifted into overlapping shadowy forms, and a burst of 7-colored light erupted, instantly transforming into the 7-colored soul. The sealing orb landed squarely on the 7-colored soul's forehead. With a tremendous bang, the sealing orb shattered, turning into a cloud of dark light that enveloped the 7-colored soul. From a distance, it appeared like a massive net. Within mere moments, the 7-colored soul shrank to the size of a fist, its glow dimming. At this moment, the War Ghost's body sped backward, ripples swirling beneath his feet. The Cloak Soul, having narrowly escaped, was filled with endless fear as it stared at the second sealing orb coming toward it. It helplessly watched as the orb pressed against its forehead, wrapping around its body as it dissipated. In the distance, the Blue Dream Dao Sovereign and others looked on, their hearts shaken. They had never expected Wang Lin to have such a backup plan. The old man with the Ma surname and Yun Yifeng exchanged complicated glances. They had initially thought that Xuan Luo would step in to assist at the cave abode core, believing that Wang Lin could not overcome this alone. However, Xuan Luo never appeared. From start to finish, Wang Lin had relied solely on his own power to reach this point. The cloaked soul, merged with the seven-colored immortal venerable inside the war ghost, now found itself enshrouded in the dark light net, shrinking into a fist-sized orb. Its connection with the war ghost was severed. In that instant, the war ghost's eyes dulled, black blood dripping from his mouth. Though his eyes were no longer filled with malice, they cleared. He looked around, his gaze eventually landing on Wang Lin, and then on the cave abode gate behind him. Seeing the door half open, a smile spread across the war ghost's face. "You are exceptional. My lifelong dream was to open this cave abode gate. Unfortunately, I failed to merge with the soul during the heavenly tribulation all those years ago." The war ghost's body emitted dark gas, his skin withering, black water dripping from him as he rapidly decayed. "I should have died years ago. You've done what I couldn't, you freed me. Wang Lin, thank you." The war ghost's voice grew weaker, and half of his body had already vanished. Yet the remaining half of his body, with a sudden flash of light in his eyes, seemed to unleash the last of his life force. As his body continued to disintegrate, it turned into a rainbow, racing toward the now half-open door. Even in death, he longed to see the immortal firmament continent that he had always dreamed of reaching. Wang Lin did not stop him. He watched as War Ghost's half-body surged into the gate, then vanished into smoke outside the gate. Inside the cave abode realm, within the entrance that Luo Tian had conjured, the enormous cauldron wrapped in black mist suddenly shook with a deafening roar. The black mist surrounding it began to collapse, dissipating without a trace. The massive cauldron cracked open down the middle, with a huge gap appearing. Golden light poured out from the split, accompanied by thunderous booms, growing louder as the crack widened, eventually tearing the cauldron apart, splitting it in two with a mighty rumble. From the split, a towering golden gate gradually materialized. The gate swung open, revealing a sea of mist within. At times, a foreign continent could be glimpsed, while at other moments, it was blurred and indistinct. As the gate appeared, the core area of the cave abode, the ruins outside the cauldron, all disintegrated into stardust, merging with the starry sky of the cave abode realm. All the cultivators in the cave abode realm who were paying attention to this place immediately felt a tremendous vibration spreading across the realm. Under this trembling, the entrance to the core of the cave abode shattered with a thunderous crash, and the enormous cauldron appeared. The golden gate within the cauldron radiated an endless golden light, enveloping the entire cave abode realm. Outside the golden gate, phantoms began to materialize. All the individuals who had entered and survived: Tua's son, Blue Dream Dao Sovereign, Third Consort Tang Shan, the people of the Five-Element Star, and Wang Lin. Except for the golden light and the booming sound of the gate opening, everything around was silent. No one spoke. All eyes were fixed on the golden gate and the world inside, sometimes clear, sometimes fuzzy. Wang Lin gazed at the gate, his eyes filled with over 2,000 years of emotions. The gate had finally opened. It had finally appeared. This day had been a long time coming. Almost since the moment he discovered that the world he inhabited was merely a cave abode realm, he had imagined that perhaps one day he would be able to open that cave abode gate and step into the true world, immortal firmament continent. Now, gazing at the golden gate, Wang Lin felt dazed. Memories of the past 2,000 years flooded his mind. Memories of how he, once a simple child from a mountain village, had walked step by step to this moment and opened the cave abode gate. The journey had been bitter, and few could understand the hardships and persistence within it, along with the twists of fate, the bonds of love, and the debts of gratitude. Xun'er, the gate to the cave abode realm has been opened by me. I will awaken you there. This is my promise to you. Wang Lin looked at the gate, sorrow in his heart as he thought of Li Muan. Xiaqing, I promise I will bring you back to life. I will. Wang Lin looked at the golden gate, and in a daze, he seemed to see his entire life within it. Third Consort Tang Shan bit her lower lip, staring blankly at the golden gate, tears welling up in the corners of her eyes. She missed her homeland, her sect, her family, and her master. She had been in the cave abode realm for so long, far too long. She should have been numb, but the longing in her heart had turned into stubborn persistence. This day, she had waited for it. The elder from the five-element star, Elder Ma, and Yun Yifeng gazed at the Golden Gate, their expressions full of emotion. They had been in the cave abode realm for countless ages, yet in the end, they had gained nothing. Elder Ma glanced at Yun Yifeng beside him, his eyes filled with kindness. He remembered when Yun Yifeng had been a young man of 18 or 19. Now, aside from the change in his appearance, Yun Yifeng had become far more weathered. Let's go home. Elder Ma sighed gently. Home. Yun Yifeng gazed at the Golden Gate, his usually calm, strategic mind now conflicted, filled with confusion. He was unsure whether Immortal Firmament Continent was home, or if the five-element star in the cave abode realm was. Behind Elder Ma, the other two middle-aged cultivators from the five-element star looked at the Golden Gate, their hearts similarly full of complex emotions, their thoughts muddled. Then, there was the black tortoise and vermilion bird. Both of them remained silent, staring at the Golden Gate, their hearts bitter as memories of their time at the Seven Paths sect, of their battles with the sect master Rainbow, Immortal Venerable, flooded back. Now, they were about to return to Immortal Firmament Continent, but the Seven Paths sect, it was likely long gone. In contrast to those who did not belong to the cave abode realm, Blue Dream Dao Sovereign gazed at the Golden Gate with a hint of hesitation. Although he knew many things and had long realized this world was just a cave abode, now that he faced the cave abode gate, he was unsure of what to do. Should he leave or stay? Tuasan, and possibly Tu-Si, also remained silent, staring at the Golden Gate, their minds unknown. In the Luotian star domain, outside the enormous cauldron and Golden Gate, a few long rainbows screamed across the distant starry sky. Yet, when the cultivators of the cave abode realm saw the moment the Golden Gate opened, they were all stunned in shock. Wang Lin's gaze, after a long while, was finally withdrawn from the Golden Gates. He could feel that the moment he appeared in this starry sky, the 8 primordial true bodies inside him had already dissipated. The water origin still remained at a minor level as it was in the past, while the other 7 origins were all hidden within his body. Everything was as it was before entering the Donglin pool, unchanged. Although he had known this would happen, a slight ripple still stirred in Wang Lin's heart at this moment. However, it was quickly suppressed, turning into an anticipation for the Donglin pool on the Immortal Firmament Continent. There may still be some grudges between us, and perhaps we should have settled them with life and death. But now, with the opening of the cave abode gate, all our grievances are hereby erased. If any of you wish to leave the abode realm, I, Wang Lin, will escort you out. With a sincere expression, Wang Lin clasped his hands in respect and bowed deeply to all those who had appeared. His words were earnest, without a hint of pretense. Wang Lin was weary. For over 2,000 years, until this very moment when the cave abode gate opened, those memories continued to swirl in his heart. Any person would feel utterly exhausted. It wasn't just Wang Lin who was tired. Everyone present here felt the same. Blue Dream Dao Sovereign was injured for his daughter. Tua Sun and Wang Lin were both enemies and allies, and at the crucial moment, Tua Sun had lent a hand. Now, even he was mentally fatigued. Tang Shan, the Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird generals, as well as the cultivators of the five-element star, all were exhausted. This battle in the heart of the cave abode had been intense, rarely seen in its ferocity. The elder from the five-element star, with the surname Ma, was the first to step forward in silence. He clasped his hands in respect towards Wang Lin, his eyes gleaming with brightness and a hint of complexity. After a long pause, he slowly spoke. Fellow Taoist Wang, I shall take my leave first. If you ever go to the land of the Immortal Clan, feel free to visit the Five Elements sect. Thank you for your assistance earlier, Senior. If I ever have the chance, I will certainly visit the Five Elements sect. Wang Lin replied calmly, nodding. Behind the elder, Yun Yifeng sighed softly, lingering for a moment as he looked around. Finally, he turned his gaze to Wang Lin and clasped his hands in respect. Brother Wang, take care. Our battle is not yet finished. On the Immortal Firmament Continent, we shall meet again to settle the outcome. Taoist Yun, take care. Wang Lin's gaze rested on Yun Yifeng. He had seen through this person's deep scheming even within the Abode realm. As he spoke, Wang Lin's eyes briefly fell on two other middle-aged cultivators from the Five-Element Star, giving them a slight nod. His right hand then rose to wave towards the distant starry sky. Suddenly, ripples appeared in the far-off sky, and the White Tiger General along with another middle-aged cultivator from the Five Elements Star materialized. Their appearance didn't surprise the elder with the surname Ma. It seemed as though he had already known they were coming. However, the Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird Generals were momentarily stunned. Friends from the Five Elements Star, I, Wang Lin, bid you farewell. Wang Lin's voice echoed as the White Tiger General released the Five Elements Star cultivator he had been restraining. This cultivator, silent, walked over to join his companions. A group of people transformed into several streaks of rainbow light and shot straight towards the golden gates. In the blink of an eye, they vanished into the glowing light, fading away. As the people from the Five Elements Star left through the gate, the Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird Generals took a few steps forward, bowing towards Wang Lin. Fellow Taoist Wang, regarding earlier matters, sigh, thank you for your forgiveness. We shall leave first. If we are ever needed on the immortal firmament continent, we will certainly comply. It was the Black Tortoise General who spoke, raising his right hand to send out a jade slip, which floated toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin received the jade slip, nodding as his gaze turned to the White Tiger General in the distance. You should go as well. The White Tiger General froze for a moment, a look of gratitude in his eyes. He deeply bowed to Wang Lin before joining the Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird Generals. The Vermilion Bird General glanced at Wang Lin with complex emotions and gave him a deep look. Thank you. Wang Lin remained silent as the three of them turned into streaks of light and flew straight towards the golden gates, slowly disappearing within, returning to the immortal firmament continent. The third consort, Tang Shan, bit her lip and softly walked toward the golden gate. She stopped several dozen paces away, turned, and looked at Wang Lin. Thank you. You've helped me, and I've helped you. No need for thanks, Wang Lin said softly, gazing at Tang Shan. Tang Shan opened her mouth as if to say something, but in the end, she remained silent. She walked toward the gate, and as her figure merged with the golden light, just before she vanished, she suddenly turned back. Will we ever meet again? Wang Lin did not respond. Tang Shan's eyes dimmed as her form was enveloped in golden light. The melancholy in her gaze, known only to herself, slowly disappeared as she entered the golden gates. Once all those not from the Abode realm had departed, Wang Lin's gaze swept over Blue Dream Dao Sovereign and the others before finally looking towards the void 100 paces behind him. He clasped his hands in respect toward it. There was no trace of a figure in the void. It seemed completely ordinary, with no ripples or distortions. Yet, as Wang Lin bowed, his voice rang out slowly. Senior Xuan Luo, you have followed me all the way, from the Five-Element Star, to the immortal realm, to this core of the cave abode. Now you've seen me open the cave abode gate. Have you had enough? Will you show yourself? That stretch of void twisted the instant Wang Lin's words echoed out. A vague silhouette began to emerge. The sudden voice and unexpected change made everyone nearby tremble inwardly, their gazes snapping toward it in unison. How did you come to know my true name? A gentle voice rippled from the indistinct figure. The moment they recognized Xuan Luo, Blue Dream Dao Sovereign, and Tua Sun both changed drastically. Their pupils contracted sharply, their expressions heavy and solemn. They had not sensed the slightest sign of Xuan Luo's arrival. Even now, they could only see him with their eyes. If they closed them, their divine sense would find nothing at all. Xuan Luo did not spare a glance for Tua Sun or Blue Dream Dao Sovereign. With an intrigued smile tugging at his lips, he fixed his gaze on Wang Lin, waiting for his answer. That Wang Lin had detected his concealment was no surprise, but to have his name spoken aloud, that stirred suspicion and sudden realization within him. I understand now. Within the First Blossom world, inside the realm of rules crafted by that little white tiger, you seized a wisp of divine sense from that minor cultivator of the Five-Element Star. You must have searched it in secret and discovered the scenes that took place on that world after you departed. Xuan Luo smiled faintly as he spoke. Wang Lin remained silent for a moment, then nodded. Indeed, just as Xuan Luo said, He had learned the name from searching that cultivator's split soul on the five-element star. The memories within that fragment were few and incomplete, containing only recent events. Among them was the moment Xuan Luo appeared after Wang Lin had left. This confirmed the doubt Wang Lin had felt when he first saw that five-elements cultivator. He had not seen the arrogant elder who had scorned the ancient clan, the very one slain by Xuan Luo. To be precise, Wang Lin had searched the soul after the battle with the 7 ambush kill, at the instant he was about to claim the MO fish. Its eerie disappearance had shaken him, driving him to investigate further. In the fragment of soul, he found the answer. Back in the Donglin sect, where the second blossom's female ancient god resided, Wang Lin had already sensed something. Later, in the ancient burial ground, he deduced and confirmed it. When he stepped back 3 paces to stand behind Xuan Luo and allowed him to strike, Wang Lin understood fully. The truth he had uncovered was real. You could pinpoint my position because of the MO fish. I overlooked the resonance between male and female of this beast. Xuan Luo shook his head, conceding the lapse. Yet that Wang Lin had discovered not only his presence, but his identity pleased Xuan Luo immensely. Wang Lin had surpassed his expectations. Was I correct? Xuan Luo asked with a smile. Wang Lin's expression was strange, but he nodded again. Then you not only know my name, but also who I truly am. Xuan Luo's smile widened. These past days hiding at Wang Lin's side had left him uncharacteristically content, even nostalgic. Part of him almost wished Wang Lin had discovered the truth later. Immortal Firmament Continent, one of the 9 suns, a grand heavenly venerable of the Tao ancient lineage. Wang Lin's voice was soft after a long pause. The first time he had learned this from the soul fragment, it had shaken his heart like a raging storm. Only after a long time had he calmed himself. Outwardly, however, he had hidden it well. The cultivators of the 5-element star gave up contending for the 3rd soul and even aided me because of your influence. For that, I am grateful. Wang Lin looked steadily at Xuan Luo as he spoke. The more Xuan Luo looked at him, the more he liked him. Every test had revealed that Wang Lin exceeded expectations. Hearing his steady, respectful yet unyielding words, Xuan Luo could not help but laugh heartily. What pleased him most was that though Wang Lin had known of his existence all along, he had never once asked for help. In this battle for the core of the Abode realm, Wang Lin had relied solely on his own strength to turn the tide. This left Xuan Luo without hesitation. He resolved to take Wang Lin as his sole disciple. Come with me to the Tao ancient lineage of the immortal firmament continent. Become my one and only disciple, and safeguard the Tao ancient lineage. Young one, will you accept? Xuan Luo's gaze was gentle, his voice carrying no trace of command, but the kindly tone of an elder speaking to a junior. His manner and words stirred a warmth in Wang Lin's heart. Yet he did not immediately agree. Instead, he fell into deep thought. Xuan Luo had watched him long enough to know him well. Seeing his expression, he faintly guessed his thoughts. With a slight frown, Xuan Luo glanced toward the golden gates and sighed softly. His frown was not directed at Wang Lin, but at the thoughts he suspected were troubling him. On the immortal firmament continent, there are many cave abode realms. It can be said that any large sect has its own cave abode realm. However, throughout history, it is rare for beings from these realms to step out, let alone take over as masters themselves. If not for the fact that this rainbow immortal venerable had scattered her soul, she would never have faced the fate of being sealed. Xuan Luo gazed at Wang Lin and slowly spoke. Do you know why this is? It's because of the immortal astral laws. The beings inside the cave abode realms opened by each sect on the immortal firmament continent cannot escape the immortal astral laws unless they possess the immortal ascension bloodline. These laws, which have existed since ancient times, are not simply rules but a pressure incompatible with the cave abode realms. This pressure is so overwhelming that any being without the bloodline, as soon as they attempt to leave, will have their soul shattered and be crushed to death by this force. Xuan Luo's voice echoed with an air of ancient weariness. This immortal astral law is something no one can resist. I understand what you're thinking. You don't want to leave, and you want everyone who wishes to leave to head to the immortal firmament continent. Xuan Luo sighed deeply. If you don't want to leave, I won't force you. But if anyone does wish to leave, I do indeed have this thought, Wang Lin said after a long silence, his voice soft. That's impossible. Not to mention you. Even that woman named Xun'er, whom you saw in the dream Dao art, cannot go to the immortal firmament continent. Just as Xuan Luo finished speaking, Wang Lin suddenly looked up. She can't go? Xuan Luo's expression became complex. He knew how important that woman was to Wang Lin, and nodded slowly. Wang Lin stood frozen, his mind blank, for a long, long time. But someone told me before that if there is a guide on the immortal firmament continent, the immortal astral law could be mitigated. Whoever told you that is deceiving you. This is absolutely impossible. The only way to resist the supreme immortal astral law is if the 9 suns act together. This immortal astral law was set by the immortal progenitor and the ancient ancestors. It cannot be changed. Wang Lin's face went pale, as if he had lost most of his blood. He staggered back several steps, and the last drop of blood left in him trickled from the corner of his mouth. The light in his eyes dimmed instantly, and a sharp, stabbing despair twisted within his heart. As for that woman named Xun'er, I checked her soul, and it is quite strange. Part of it is missing. I also searched for clues in this cave abode realm, but found nothing. This matter is very mysterious. But no matter what, her soul is incomplete, and she cannot awaken. If her soul can be made whole, I might be able to help her wake up. You could go to the immortal firmament continent first. In the future, if you find that missing part of her soul, you can return here. As Xuan Luo spoke, he stopped suddenly, seeing the blood tears welling up in Wang Lin's eyes. Is it truly impossible? Wang Lin whispered, his voice bitter. I will not leave Xun'er behind here alone. My reason for opening this cave abode gate and wanting to go to the immortal firmament continent is all for her. To wake her, my original plan was to take her to the immortal firmament continent, where we could seek an opportunity for her to awaken. If she cannot go, I will go alone for 1,000, 10,000 years. It's better for us to stay here in the cave abode realm, never to leave, until death. Wang Lin muttered, tears streaming down his face. The color of his tears was faintly red. If the soul weeps, if the spirit mourns, if everything within oneself is soaked in despair, it transforms into blood tears. His words reached the ears of Blue Dream Dao Sovereign. He remained silent, listening to the man whom his daughter loved, speaking with such deep attachment for another woman. This time, however, there was no anger in his thoughts, only sympathy and sorrow. He thought of his own wife. Xuan Luo looked at Wang Lin for a long time, then sighed deeply. Suddenly, he spoke. Wang Lin, it's not without hope. I will risk everything once more and help you resist the immortal astral laws, casting the heavenly sun reincarnation art. Any of your friends who wish to leave this cave abode realm will be reborn on the immortal firmament continent through this reincarnation method. Once reincarnated, they will be citizens of the immortal firmament continent, possessing the bloodline. But their memories will be sealed away, and it will be up to you to find them in the future and awaken their sealed memories. This process might be extremely long. I cannot predict how long it will take. Some might be reborn in just a few years, while others may take over 1,000 years. And the place of reincarnation is not something I can determine. The immortal firmament continent is vast, so you must be prepared and confident that you can find them one by one. As for that woman, Xun'er, her soul is incomplete, and she cannot be reincarnated, but I can still help you. At the moment when you resist the immortal astral laws, you will have a 50% chance of taking her safely to the immortal firmament continent. But this possibility only has a 50% chance. If you fail, you will die along with her. Tell me, what is your choice? Xuan Luo spoke these words, knowing full well that he would have to pay a great price himself. Yet as he looked at Wang Lin, he spoke without hesitation. In this world, no help comes without reason, and Wang Lin understood this. Yet, some people, through different actions, could achieve different outcomes. For instance, the past escape of Tian, or now, Xuan Luo's actions, all driven by self-interest. Still, Wang Lin's heart warmed rather than chilled. Wang Lin had heavy debts of gratitude. He owed Tian in the past, and now he owed Xuan Luo. He was willing to repay them both. Xuan Luo's words echoed in his ears, lingering for a long time. Everything about how to enter the immortal firmament continent and the consequences of it was now crystal clear to Wang Lin. Reincarnation? Wang Lin mumbled. Perhaps in a few years, perhaps in 1,000 years. For all those without the immortal ascension bloodline who wish to leave the cave abode realm, it will take such a long time before they can appear in some corner of the immortal firmament continent. When we reunite after 1,000 years, I will need to unlock their sealed memories. After a long silence, Wang Lin raised his head and looked at Xuan Luo. He bowed deeply to him. Wang Lin vaguely understood that such a clear opposition to the immortal astral laws would require Xuan Luo to pay a significant price. I don't know who else might decide to leave the cave abode realm, nor how many there will be. But no matter what, Senior's grace, I will never forget. Wang Lin's words carried a deep sincerity, and as he bowed, an unspoken connection seemed to form between him and Xuan Luo. It was unclear, yet undeniably present. As for Xun'er, if I cannot live with her, then even if we die together outside the cave abode realm, I will have no regrets. Wang Lin spoke with unwavering certainty. His words, no regrets, seemed to stir a storm in the peaceful starry sky, echoing in all directions. No regrets, no regrets, no regrets. These two words, no regrets, expressed Wang Lin's heart of Tao that had been nurtured over 2,000 years of cultivation. No regrets seemed to reverse the passage of time, bringing him back to the fateful crossroads in the demonic sea. No regrets also shouted out Wang Lin's lifelong feelings for Li Muan, mixed with longing and a sense of sorrowful remorse at this very moment. Among all women in the world, except for his mother, no one could replace Li Muan in Wang Lin's heart. Despite meeting countless beauties, none could compare to her, who accompanied him with the sound of the zither. This was a love that had circled Wang Lin's life for 2,000 years, and it would never fade until the day of his death. It was a heart of no regrets. If they could not live together, then they would die together, undaunted by fate. These two words reached the ears of Blue Dream Tao Sovereign, who, staring at the direction of the immortal realm in the starry sky, fell silent, his eyes dimming. Xuan Luo's gaze sharpened. He looked at Wang Lin, who met his gaze without flinching, and heard his words of no regrets. He nodded slightly. Reincarnation, defying the immortal astral law. I need some time to prepare. 1 month later, bring everyone who wishes to leave here, and I will cast the spell. As for you, that is your own choice. Xuan Luo did not try to persuade further. After observing Wang Lin's character during these days, he understood that once this person made a decision, he would never change. This Wang Lin perfectly meets my requirements. He is willing to wait 1,000 years to unlock his friend's sealed memories. That's loyalty. He does not wish to leave alone, but wants everyone who wants to leave to do so together. That's compassion. He does not abandon his lover, even if it means dying together with no regrets. That's love. Such a person with loyalty, compassion, and love. If I, the Tao ancient lineage, do not forsake him and continue to show him grace, then he will undoubtedly protect the Tao ancient lineage without complaint, until eternity. A subtle flash appeared in Xuan Luo's eyes, and a silent decision had been made. Wang Lin looked at Xuan Luo deeply for the 3rd time, bowed again, and turned to leave. Behind him, the silent Blue Dream Tao Sovereign followed. As for Tua San, after bidding farewell to Wang Lin, he hesitated about leaving and reincarnating. He wandered aimlessly toward the edge of the starry sky, needing time to think things through. The vast starry sky shimmered with clusters of star clouds, beautiful yet increasingly indistinct as Wang Lin's gaze swept across them. After a long while, he withdrew his gaze from the stars and shot forward like a long rainbow through the sky. He was not leaving the Luotian star domain, but heading towards the place where Donglin's star had once existed. The Donglin star had collapsed long ago, leaving only a rift, a path leading to the frozen world, where the second blossom stood. Before he left, Wang Lin still had some unfinished business. He had promised Yun Na, the female ancient god, that he would take her out of the sealed world. The Luotian star domain, located in opposite directions from the Golden Gates, is home to the Eastwood star, which had collapsed years ago. Although the distance from the Golden Gates is vast, The glow of the golden gates still lingers here, casting a subtle golden haze across the starry sky. The crack in the frozen world appeared like a wound in that sky, faint yet occasionally releasing bursts of cold air, which, tinted by the golden light, turned to a golden hue. At this moment, outside the crack, the starry sky twisted as Wang Lin's figure emerged. His gaze was sharp as he focused on the crack. With a swift motion, he charged towards it, closing the distance in an instant. His hands emanated a ghostly glow, his entire body radiating the aura of Tao ancient energy. Gathering the energy in his hands, he unleashed a force capable of tearing the heavens, ripping at the crack with immense power. The sky roared with a loud boom as the crack split open further under Wang Lin's low shout, allowing the cold air inside to surge out, revealing the frozen land within. This frozen land of the second blossom was the only place that hadn't collapsed. The entire world within was sealed in ice, and though the power of Xuan Luo had dissipated, the freezing still lingered. "Yunna, I've come to take you out." Wang Lin stood outside the crack, sending out a divine sense that echoed through the icebound world, spreading across the frozen expanse. Within the icebound world, on a vast stone platform, Yunna, sitting cross-legged, slowly opened her eyes. She looked up toward the distant ice layer and smiled. "Has he come?" she whispered, then closed her eyes again, and a mist of clouds emanated from her brow, vanishing into the ice ahead. Within the ice, her form drifted like smoke, ethereal and swift, heading directly towards the place where Wang Lin had called out. It didn't take long before she appeared at the entrance leading to Luotian's star. She saw Wang Lin. However, between them, there was still the thick ice layer. "I was created by my master to guard the Donglan sect. This is my debt of gratitude. I left behind my ancient god's body, and within it, life still exists, nourishing this place in return. From now on, I will have no more connection to this place, no more attachments. Please help me guide my soul out." Yun Na's divine sense echoed. Looking at Yun Na's soul within the ice, Wang Lin understood her thoughts. Previously, when he entered the second blossom, she had merely made a request, but had not yet decisively split her soul to follow him. Instead, she waited until Wang Lin had truly passed through the 5 flowers and 8 gates, unlocking the cave abode gate before scattering her soul from her body. This was understandable, as splitting the soul was a huge decision for Yun Na, and she needed to be cautious. Wang Lin kept his promise, not dwelling on the matter further. He ripped open the crack again and suddenly exhaled a breath of Tao ancient energy, fused with his own essence, towards the ice layer ahead. The breath was intangible, but as soon as it touched the ice, it emitted a cracking sound, echoing across the starry sky, as a multitude of tiny fissures appeared, causing the ice to collapse in chunks. As the ice shattered, Yun Na's soul began to slowly emerge from the broken ice, and at the moment of the ice's collapse, her soul condensed into her form, emerging in a flash from the crack Wang Lin had torn open, floating in the vast starry sky. She gazed at the stars, her expression calm, without any ripple of emotion in her soul. After a long time, she turned to Wang Lin and gave a graceful bow. "Thank you for your help, young master. This is a promise I made to you, as well as the exchange for that drop of blood. No need to thank me. However, you must decide whether to stay here and live within this cave abode realm, or leave and go to the immortal firmament continent, where the Donglan sect is located, and also the homeland of your master, the Rainbow Immortal Venerable. If you wish to stay here, go ahead. But if you want to go to the immortal firmament continent, you will have to endure the agony of reincarnation for 1,000 years." Wang Lin's gaze rested on Yun Na's soul as he spoke. Yun Na calmly listened to Wang Lin's words, contemplating for a moment. She gazed out at the starry sky and spoke softly. "Reincarnation is fine. 1,000 years. It's not long." Wang Lin, looking at Yun Na, saw the bitterness of time and the uncertainty of a future unknown. Perhaps, choosing reincarnation was the best path for her. Wang Lin didn't speak again. He raised his right hand, palm facing up, and Yun Na's body gently floated towards him. It condensed into a small orb of light, no larger than a fist, and hovered in his palm. Wang Lin closed his fist, storing the light orb in his storage dimension. He glanced at the crack in the frozen world sky and turned to leave. The starry sky of the cave abode realm was familiar to him. As he walked, his pace was slow, as if he were taking one final, lingering look at the stars. Wang Lin's promise, aside from the one to Yun Na, was also to another woman, deep within the cloud sea, star domain, Xuan Luo. Xuan Luo was also a pitiful woman. She was the first consort of 7 colors and the younger sister of Shanmeng. However, in this cave abode realm, she had existed for far too long, ultimately being drawn into that illusory realm by her sister to extract Wang Lin's oath blood. She is from the immortal firmament continent. She does not need to reincarnate to leave. Wang Lin took a step, crossing Luotian, and arrived at the Sea of Clouds, heading deep into the Sea of Clouds, to the rift space where Xuan Luo was. In addition to taking Xuan Luo away, there was another matter that Wang Lin had nearly forgotten. But at this moment, as the cave abode gate opened and the final month before his departure approached, it resurfaced in his mind. He had once promised a small person that he would grant them a physical body and bestow a certain level of cultivation. That small person's soul was still in his storage dimension, and it had been there for a very long time.